Hello, and welcome to Kimbrough Legal's November webinar, Stress-Free Holidays, Navigating Co-Parenting for a Joyful Season. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday evening. My name is Michelle Bell, and I am honored to introduce our presenter, Attorney Jasmine Avery. Attorney Jasmine Avery provides concierge-level service to her clients at Kimbrough Legal. Jasmine's experience in family law includes divorce, child custody, modifications, property division, and litigation. With her compassionate approach, Jasmine provides support and guidance to her clients, ensuring their interests are protected throughout the process. Jasmine is a skilled advocate known for her commitment to delivering exceptional personalized attention. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here, and it's a really, really great topic that I think everyone needs to hear, and it comes up every single holiday season. So I'm excited.
Great. Let's get started.
Okay. So the discussion today is on co-parenting during the holiday season. And as we know, the holidays are a time to get together with family and to enjoy each other's company. And the last thing you want to worry about as a co-parent is scheduling and who gets who and where the transportation, all those things. So hopefully after this webinar today, you'll feel a lot more at peace about what next steps are and how to navigate this holiday season. So in Texas, there are laws that govern custody and visitation during the holidays. And those laws, or the way it's laid out, are typically put in a court order for you. And it is either an agreed parenting plan or it is ordered by the court. So if you reach an agreement with your co-parent, that is the agreement that will be binding and enforceable in court. Otherwise, the court will make a final decision that'll be in the best interest of the child and will specify how custody and visitation during the holidays will be handled. So here are some key points to consider regarding holiday visitation in Texas. First of all, we have to talk about the default standard possession. The standard possession order is used in a lot of different custody cases. It is the custody schedule that is presumed to be in the best interest of a child that is 3 years old or older. However, you can also create a customized possession schedule that works best for you and your co-parent. So you do not have to default to this order, but courts tend to fall back on this as a foundation just because it's presumed to be in the best interest of the parties. There aren't all of the holidays that we normally celebrate or that you and your family may celebrate aren't typically covered by the standard possession order. The only holidays covered are spring break possession, Thanksgiving break, Christmas, and New Year's. And New Year's isn't even really specified on its own. It's just kind of lumped into the Christmas schedule as well. So with spring break, normally the parents will split spring break. One will get the first half, the other will get the second half. And even in odd years, they'll switch. And Thanksgiving, the standard possession order says that one parent in even years will get the start of Thanksgiving break, so whenever school is dismissed, up until when school resumes again, and it'll flip-flop on even and odd years. For Christmas, it also flip-flops on even and odd years, where one parent will get the start of the Christmas holiday, meaning when school is dismissed for Christmas, up until December 28th. Then the other parent will pick up December 28th up until the time school goes back in session. So you really have to pay attention to the orders because they tend to alternate which year you get what days. Customized schedules. So as I talked about previously, you can customize your own holiday visitation schedule, right? And this can look different from the standard possession order depending on what holidays you and your family may celebrate. If there are additional holidays based on religion or family traditions or whatever it is, you may have things that the standard schedule just doesn't outline for you. So if you both agree, you can put those terms in there. I've had cases where clients or parents will put in Easter holiday because that's important to them, or they'll put in holidays, like Rosh Hashanah or other holidays, just depending on what your family celebrates. So if you agree, you can put it in there. If you don't agree, you can go to the judge and they'll make a decision, but the court can approve your agreement. For notice and communication, the standard possession order and court orders possibly will include provisions for you to provide notice to the other parent about holidays, your communication, between the visitation periods. So really pay close attention, because there is certain information that you may be ordered to provide to the other parent during the holiday season, where you'll have to give them information, whether it's about flights or transportation or whatever it may be. Okay, child's best interest. So this is one overarching consideration. And when we say overarching, it is the main focal point of what a judge uses to make decisions for custody. The judge is going to want to know what is in the child's best interest. So whenever we're talking about schedules and visitation and things, the child's best interest is what is going to determine what the schedule looks like. So you'll want to make sure that if you and your co-parent are making any changes to the schedule, that you have this in mind, because it will be in the court's mind if it goes that far. For geographic restrictions, some court orders may restrict the child to a specific location. Normally it's just for the child's residence. But there are some times where even international travel may be restricted. There are certain countries or places that the parents have agreed the child won't go. And so you'll want to be sure to have that in mind whenever you're making plans for the holidays, to make sure that the child has access to both parents for the holiday season. Enforcement. This is always an area that a lot of people want to know about, right? What happens if they don't do this? What happens if the co-parent fails to do this? So if one co-parent is not following the custody agreement regarding the holiday schedule, the other parent can seek enforcement through the courts, meaning you can file a motion for enforcement, and you go to the judge and you say, look, this is the schedule we're supposed to follow for Christmas. Co-parent didn't follow that. I need you to enforce this so I can have my time. And the court will, either fine them, hold them in contempt, order makeup visitation and give you extra days, or some other type of remedy to kind of fix the situation. Then there's also modifications. So let's say you got this holiday schedule and it's just not working anymore. What you agreed to when the child was 3 years old doesn't work when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and now you need to change it. Or say if one co-parent moves away and the distance has just kind of changed whatever you first agreed to, you can go and try to modify the order either by agreement or through the courts if there is a substantial and material change in the circumstances that warrant a change in the child's best interest. Okay, now here's some general tips for co-parenting during the holidays. Number 1, follow your custody agreement or court order. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. You do not want to be the parent who has to get taken to court because you're not following the order. And although you may just have mixed up dates or have forgotten what the specifics are in your order, that type of argument won't hold up in court, because the judge will say you have your order, you should have known it. So make sure that you follow your legal documents, because they're going to outline how the holidays are divided up between you and the co-parent. And plan ahead. Make sure to communicate in advance with your co-parent to plan holiday schedules. It is essential to discuss and agree on specific dates and times and locations for exchanges, especially if you have a situation where there's a lot of distance between the parents. Maybe you don't both live in Texas, and if there's travel involved, that's something you're going to want to plan ahead of time. Flexibility and cooperation. Always be prepared to be flexible and to cooperate, right? Plans change, the weather changes, things may happen, and plans may need to be adjusted and shift. So just be prepared to be flexible. This is honestly one of the best ways you can be proactive with maintaining the peace, is to be flexible when the holiday season comes around. So if you need to modify holiday plans, just discuss it with your co-parent and consider getting any changes in writing. And then communication and documentation. You want to make sure to maintain clear and respectful communication with your co-parent. Document any of your discussions and agreements, preferably in writing, right? Because sometimes we have verbal communications or conversations and either someone forgets what they said or it's not confirmed, there's miscommunications, and a lot of disagreements and tension in co-parenting comes from miscommunications, just not understanding. So make sure that if you all agree to make any changes, that you put that in writing. Something else I want to add in is that the orders are your default. And what I mean by that is that if you and the co-parent agree to make a change that isn't in your court order, that is okay if you both agree to it. But if you don't agree, then the orders are there saying that you both have to follow this. So if you make any other changes and you agree to those things, it's perfectly fine. Travel and passports. If your holiday plans involve international travel or, require the use of a passport, make sure that you have all the necessary consents and court approvals. You don't want your trip that you've planned to be held up because you haven't checked all the boxes. And then here it is again, the child's best interest. Always, always, always prioritize your child's best interest because the court will make decisions based on that. Keep your emotions in check. As I mentioned earlier in the webinar, during the holiday season, it comes with a lot of different emotions, right? A lot of joy, but also maybe a lot of grief or sadness. Especially if it's your first holiday co-parenting, maybe fresh out of a divorce or fresh off of a custody battle. Emotions can tend to run high around this time, trying to adjust to life's changes. So just maintain a calm and respectful demeanor when you're discussing co-parenting matters. Be sure to collaborate with your co-parent. You guys are on the same team. You want the same thing. And we want a win-win-win holiday season, meaning you win, the co-parent wins, and the child. There's no losses here. There's no me versus you in this. Then also seek legal advice. Okay, seek and consult with an attorney who specializes in family law if you have any concerns or questions about your co-parenting arrangements during the holidays. Because we attorneys can provide you with legal advice that's tailored to your specific circumstances. And then lastly here, just remember that laws can vary depending on what jurisdiction you're in. And you also want to make sure you pay close attention to your court order. So be very familiar with local laws and regulations and consult with an attorney who is experienced in those areas as well, because legal advice can help you navigate complex co-parenting situations and make sure that you are complying with your court order. All right, that's it for me.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. That was really informative. We already have a couple questions that have come through. So let's go ahead and do some quick Q&A. The first question is, what happens if my co-parent wants to switch Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Yeah, so if you have a court order and your co-parent says, hey, I'd like to do things differently this year, you take this one, I take this one, or whatever it is, that's perfectly fine. If you agree to change it, even if it's not in your court order, you all can do that. I would just say be sure to get that agreement in writing, text message, an email, something like that. Write it on a piece of paper and you both sign it. And just if it's agreed to, you're fine to switch it up as you need to adjust. But if it's not agreed to, then you all just need to stick to the court order.
So I don't have to do it, in other words.
Yes, you do not have to. So you can choose to agree or not. And if you don't agree, you'll both be following that court order.
Okay, perfect. The next question is, do I have to let my child take presents that I bought them to the primary parent's house?
There's nothing that says you have to, unless it's in your court order, but you don't have to do that. But I would say it may be in the child's best interest to just let the child take them. I think it would maintain the peace. You don't want to maybe take the toy away from the child and say, leave it here or something, and just, cause a situation there. So I would just say that's a battle you don't even want to pick, and just let the child take it and just remind the co-parent to bring that toy back. A lot of orders will say that whatever the child brings to one parent's house needs to come back with that child as well. So if your orders have that specificity, then everything should be okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jasmine. We have a couple other questions. Do I have to allow the co-parent's partner to celebrate Christmas with my child?
This is a good one, and it tends to cause a lot of tension. So this is where I would say pay close attention to your orders. Some orders have provisions about new romantic relationships. Say if it's just, a boyfriend or girlfriend, a partner, but not like they're not married, it may have provisions about that sort of thing. So pay attention to that. Other than that, you really have no say in who's going to spend Christmas with your child when they're in possession of the other parent. So if you don't have any major safety concerns, there's not very much you can do except to, I would say, have that open and honest conversation with your co-parent and talk about what your concerns are and see if, you know, there's any type of arrangement you all can come to make you feel more at ease about the other romantic partner being there.
Okay. Can I still see my child on Christmas Day, even if it's not my day?
This is where co-parenting comes into play. So if it's not your day and the other parent is supposed to have the full Christmas day, you all will need to come to an agreement that allows you to come in and see the children either for Christmas morning, Christmas afternoon, evening, a few hours here and there, or whatever it may be. So all of that will need to be by agreement. Otherwise, you'll have your time whenever the order has scheduled for you to have Christmas visitation time.
All right. And this is the final question, Jasmine. Do I have to share my holiday plans with my co-parent?
So very, very good question here. A lot of orders typically tell you that if there's going to be international travel, you have to give, I think it's about 14 days notice, and it includes lodging information, so where you're staying, flight information, when you're leaving, when you're coming back. So if it's going to be international travel, your order may already tell you to provide notice. But if it's not international and there aren't any other specific provisions about giving notice, if it's just holiday possession and it's your time, you don't have to give all of that information to the other co-parent. Should you, if they ask? Yes. But most orders may not tell you to offer up that information.
All right, wonderful. Well, that concludes our November webinar. If anyone would like to schedule a consultation with Jasmine Avery, you can give us a call at 833-553-4251. Follow us on social media, and please visit our website at Kimbroughlegal.com. Have a great day. Thank you, Jasmine.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.